The scream that morning at Lekki Gate still rings in people's ears. A fine young woman, dressed in white designer clothes, lifted her hand and slapped a beggar so hard his plate of coins scattered across the tar road. Cars stopped. Hawkers froze. Even the traffic warden stood still. That was the day Lagos swallowed its noise for a few seconds. No one knew that same slap would return to her later, not as sound, but as pain, hunger, and tears. Lagos never sleeps. By 6 in the morning, the air around Banana Island already hums with the sound of generators, car horns, and the smell of expensive perfume mixed with exhaust fumes. In one of those marble mansions lived Adaora Arinze Okonkwo, the only daughter of billionaire businessman Chief Arinze Okonkwo. Her father owned oil companies, hotels, and half of the adverts that flashed across Third Mainland Bridge. Adaora had everything a young woman could want: 2 personal cars, a driver, a live-in stylist, and closets full of designer clothes she barely wore twice. But what she didn't have, what money never gave her, was humility. From childhood, she'd been told she was special. Teachers bowed before her father's donations, friends obeyed her out of fear of losing gifts, and her mother pampered her like fragile glass. By the time she returned from London with a master's degree in business management, her pride had built a mansion of its own inside her heart. Every morning she rode through Lagos traffic, with her tinted windows up, earphones in, ignoring the world. She'd scroll through Instagram, scoffing at what she called the struggle crowd. If her driver greeted her, she barely nodded. To her, poor people existed to serve and move aside. That morning, traffic was tight around Lekki Phase 1 gate. Hawkers swarmed between cars selling gala, plantain chips, and cold drinks. Among them, sitting on a mat near the divider, was a frail beggar everyone called Baba Sunday. He had a scar on his left cheek and one bad leg that dragged behind him like a broken stick. He wasn't loud like the other beggars. He'd simply raise his hand and whisper, "God bless you, my Pekin." "Help who you fit." Help Adaora saw him approach her car window. He bowed slightly, stretching out a trembling hand. "My daughter, I beg, help me with small change make I buy food. God go bless you plenty." Adaora lowered the glass halfway, her long nails tapping on her phone screen. Her face hardened. "You people again. Every day you come to dirty the road. Move away, old man." Baba Sunday smiled faintly. "No vex, my Pekin. Hunger no, they hear shame." She frowned. "Did I tell you I have money for you? If you don't move, I'll call someone to drag you away." When he didn't move fast enough, something snapped in her. She flung open the car door, stepped out in her heels, and shouted, "I said move away!" Then came the slap. Sharp, loud, humiliating. The old man fell sideways, his coins rolling under tires. Gasps rose from onlookers. A hawker dropped his tray. Baba Sunday didn't curse her. He simply looked up from the ground, eyes calm, voice shaking. "My daughter, may God not allow life teach you with the same hand you just used." She hissed, climbed back into the car, and slammed the door. Her driver, silent with fear, drove off the moment traffic moved. The beggar stayed on the road, touching his cheek gently, whispering something only heaven heard. That evening, the scene went viral. Someone had recorded it. By night, Instagram and Twitter were filled with clips titled, "Billionaire's daughter slaps beggar at Lekki Gate." The comments were brutal. "Money no fit buy sense. These rich children they craze. Wait till karma reach her door." Chief Arinze was furious. "Adaora, do you know how this affects my company's image? You disgraced this family." She rolled her eyes. "Daddy, please. It's just social media. People will forget tomorrow." Her mother tried to pray over her that night. "Ada, pride goeth before a fall," she said softly. But Adaora laughed. "Mummy, I beg, stop with Bible quotes. I'm fine." The prayer ended unfinished. 2 weeks later, thunder began to roll over their perfect lives. First came the EFCC raid. Chief Arinzi's partners were arrested over tax fraud, and his name appeared in the papers. Banks froze accounts. Cars were seized. Reporters camped at the gate of their mansion shouting, "Chief Arinzi, any comment on the scandal?" Adaora's phone exploded with messages. Friends asking questions at first, then going silent. The same influencers who once begged her for sponsorships now mocked her online. Her father collapsed one morning from high blood pressure. In less than 1 month, the mighty Okonkwo Empire crumbled like soaked bread. Servants left. The mansion emptied. When the electricity was cut, Adaora experienced darkness for the first time. Real darkness, without generator hum. She tried to call her boyfriend, Toby, a flashy musician. "Baby, things are rough now," she said, voice trembling. "Can you come see me?" Toby laughed nervously. "Ah, Ada, EFCC day your papa howso. Make them no come carry me join. I'll call you later." He never did. Her best friend, Chioma, blocked her. Another friend posted online, "Fake people pretend to be queens until their father's money finish." Adaora threw her phone across the room and screamed. For days, she refused to eat. Her mother prayed constantly, singing softly, "There is a friend that sticketh closer than a brother." But Adaora wasn't listening. Her world had ended. When Chief Arinzi's bail was granted, they had to sell the last house in Ikoyi to pay legal fees. The family moved into a small 2-bedroom bungalow in Aja, with 1 ceiling fan and cracked walls. Adaora couldn't believe it. The girl who once slept on imported silk now woke up to mosquitoes and heat. One morning, she decided to go job hunting. She wore her last good dress and boarded a danfo for the first time in her life. Inside, sweat and noise filled the air. A woman carrying plantain sat beside her and smiled. "Fine girl, you dey go office?" Adaora forced a smile. "Yes, something like that." The woman nodded. "Now God go help all of us. This Lagos no easy." For the first time, Adaora looked around and saw humans, real faces, tired eyes, but still hopeful. It humbled her, though she didn't admit it yet. That evening, hungry and frustrated, she stopped near the same Lekki gate to buy roasted corn. The smell drew her closer. As she handed the seller a note, a soft voice behind her said, "My daughter, Edon te we see." She turned and froze. It was Baba Sunday, the man she'd slapped. Her heart skipped. He looked even thinner now, but his smile was the same. Before she could speak, he said quietly, "I told you that day. Life can teach with the same hand you used." Her eyes filled with tears, but pride held her tongue. "Please, I'm sorry," she whispered. He nodded. "Apology is good, but forgiveness must start inside you. Pride is like dust. If you don't sweep it, it will cover your soul." Adaora wanted to give him money, but she only had enough for transport. "I'll come back tomorrow," she said. He smiled again. "Tomorrow is a promise only God can keep. But if you come, bring your heart clean." Then he turned away, dragging his bad leg into the crowd. That night, Adaora couldn't sleep. For the first time in her life, she knelt beside her bed and prayed, "God, please, I don't even know what to say. Just help me. Please." Tears rolled down her face. Her mother, hearing her, stood at the door and smiled faintly. "Heaven hears the prayer of a broken heart," she whispered. Morning came with heat and shame. Adaora woke to the sound of a neighbor shouting at his wife and the distant horn of Okadas. No maids, no perfume of imported breakfast. Just smoke from frying akara drifting through the cracked window. Her mother was sitting by the door reading her Bible, lips moving in silent prayer. "Ada, come and eat," she said. "It's small Gary and ground nut." Adaora turned away. "Mommy, I can't drink Gary. It makes me feel sick." "My daughter," her mother sighed, "hunger is a better teacher than pride." She left the bowl there and walked out, sandals dusty, face hidden behind sunglasses that no longer suited her. The job hunt began badly. Every office she entered gave her the same cold look once she mentioned her surname. "Ah, are you Chief Arinzi's daughter?" We'll call you." No one called. At one company, the HR manager smiled too sweetly and said, "There's an opening, but we can discuss it better over dinner." She understood the meaning immediately. She walked out, trembling. On her way home, the bus conductor shouted, "Madam, bring your change." She searched her purse, empty. "A beg, I'll pay when I get down," she pleaded. The conductor laughed loud enough for the whole bus to hear. "See fine girl way dey form Banana Island before. Pay or come down." The passengers giggled. Adaora felt something break inside her. She stepped down in the middle of the road and walked barefoot until her legs ached. That night, she cried for hours. Her mother's prayer mixed with her sobs until both became one sound. Days turned into weeks. Their landlord knocked one evening. "Madam, I need my rent. EFCC matter no concern me. If una no fit pay, I beg, pack out." Her mother tried to beg him, quoting Psalm 121. He shrugged. "Bible no be rent money." They moved again, this time to a face me, I face you compound near Sangotedo. Shared bathroom, noisy generator, neighbors shouting over water. Adaora couldn't even look at her reflection anymore. One afternoon, hunger forced her to walk to the bus stop to buy bread. Rain had just fallen, turning the street to mud. She slipped and landed on her knees. People laughed softly as they passed. A young woman bent to help her up. "Sister, sorry, oh, you okay?" Adaora nodded, trying not to cry. "Thank you. I'm fine." "You sure?" "Yes." The girl smiled. "Now so life be. Today he go bend you, tomorrow he go lift you." Just hold God. Adaora watched her walk away, wondering how a stranger could have more kindness than all the rich friends she once knew. That night, she found a small church near the compound. Tin roof, plastic chairs, the kind where the drums echo loud against the walls. She sat at the back, unseen. The pastor was preaching on humility. "My brethren," he said, "when pride lives inside a man, God steps aside until that pride dies." Adaora bowed her head and wept quietly. In that moment, she felt something loosen, the heavy shell she had built around her heart. A few days later, her mother fell sick. Fever, cough, weakness. Adaora spent their last money on medicine, then sold her handbag to buy food. Still, her mother's health worsened. She decided to go find work in Balogan Market. Any work. She met a woman selling second-hand clothes who agreed to let her help. The pay was small, but it was survival. Standing under the sun from morning till evening, shouting, "Okrika! Okrika!" She learned how it felt to sweat for food. At night, she'd sit by her mother's bed, holding her hand and whispering, "Mommy, I'm sorry for everything. I was blind before. I thought money was life." Her mother smiled weakly. "You see now, my daughter, God is not punishing you. He's washing your eyes." One Friday evening, as she was closing the stall, someone called her name softly. She turned. It was Baba Sunday, standing by a wall with his walking stick. Rain clouds were gathering. The sky looked bruised. "My daughter," he said, "you look tired." "I'm trying," she whispered. "Life is hard." "Life has always been hard," he said, smiling. "It is hearts that soften." She felt tears rising. "Baba, I've been looking for you. I wanted to say sorry and thank you." He nodded. "Sorry accepted. But gratitude belongs to God. You see, the same ground that holds the rich man's mansion also holds the beggar's mat. When the rain falls, it touches both." Lightning flashed. Adaora offered him part of her bread. He broke it, gave half back. "Share with your mother." "I'll be fine," she wanted to insist, but he was already walking away, limping slowly into the rain. That was the last time she saw him alive. 2 days after that rainy evening, Adaora went back to the market looking for Baba Sunday. He wasn't there. The spot where he usually sat was empty, his mat rolled and tied with rope. She asked a hawker, "Please, where's the old man who sits here? The one with the bad leg?" The girl selling pure water sighed. "Ah, you mean Baba Sunday? He died last night for that corner near the drainage. Some people carry go church compound. Them say, make pastor help bury, Adaora froze." The world around her went quiet. The rain smell, the car horns, the hawkers, all faded. She sat on the ground and covered her face. She felt as if someone had pulled her heart out. The one person who had shown her kindness when she had nothing was gone. Her mind replayed his words, "Tomorrow is a promise only God can keep." That evening she went to the small church near the compound and found the pastor. "Sir," she said, voice trembling, "please, can I see where they buried Baba Sunday?" He led her behind the church. The ground was still fresh, covered with wild flowers. A small wooden cross stood there with his name written in marker. Adaora knelt and began to cry. "Baba, I wish I had come earlier. I wish I could tell you how sorry I am." The pastor placed a hand on her shoulder. He said before he died that a certain young woman would come. He told us to tell her not to mourn, but to continue what he started. She looked up. What did he start? Feeding the hungry. He used to come here every evening to share the little he begged for with street children. He said, "I was once rich until pride made me poor. Now that I am poor, I am rich in mercy." Adaora closed her eyes. That night, something in her spirit shifted completely. The next morning, she sold her last gold earrings and used the money to cook a big pot of rice and beans. She carried it to the same gate at Lekki, where everything had begun, the place of the slap. The traffic noise, the hawkers, the dust, it all felt like ghosts of her past. She stood beside the road and started serving food to beggars and hawkers. At first, people watched in surprise. One old woman asked, "Fine girl, who sent you?" Adaora smiled. "Nobody. Someone once fed me when I had nothing. I'm just passing it on." That day, she fed over 50 people. When the pot emptied, she sat on the pavement, watching the sunset over the lagoon. She whispered, "Thank you, Baba Sunday." Days turned into weeks. Adaora kept cooking and feeding strangers every Saturday. People began to notice. Some joined her, bringing extra food, water, clothes. A journalist snapped her picture one afternoon and posted it online. Former billionaire's daughter serves food to beggars at Lekki Gate. It went viral, again. But this time, the comments were different. God bless her heart. See transformation. Money fall, but grace stand. Her father, still weak from his trial, saw the post and wept. "My daughter," he said, "you've restored this family's honor more than all my business ever did." With donations from kind strangers, Adaora registered a small NGO, the Hands of Grace Foundation. Every month they fed hundreds of homeless people in Lagos. She never collected salary. She lived simply, smiling more than she ever had when she was rich. Sometimes at night, she would write in her small notebook, "Pride made me deaf. Pain taught me to listen. The beggar I despised gave me the richest gift, wisdom." One Sunday morning, she returned to the church where Baba Sunday was buried. The pastor was preaching from the book of Proverbs. Better is a humble spirit with the lowly than to divide spoil with the proud. When service ended, she asked to give a short testimony. She stood before the congregation, hands shaking slightly. "There was a time I thought I owned the world. I used my father's wealth like a weapon. I insulted people, mocked the poor, even raised my hand against an old beggar." Murmurs filled the room. She continued, voice firm. "That beggar forgave me. He gave me food when I was hungry. He told me that true wealth is not money but kindness. I believe God sent him to save my soul before it was too late." Some people wiped tears. Others clapped softly. The pastor prayed over her, saying, "The stone the builders rejected has become a cornerstone. Go and keep building lives." Outside the church, the sun was bright and hot. Children from the neighborhood ran to her van, shouting, "Auntie Adaora, food day today?" She laughed. "Yes, my children." Food full ground. As she dished rice into plates, she felt a calm she had never known when she wore diamonds. In her heart, she heard Baba Sunday's voice again. The same ground that holds the rich man's mansion also holds the beggar's mat. When the rain falls, it touches both. Later that evening, she visited the lagoon side alone. She sat by the water, watching the city lights glitter like scattered stars. She spoke softly to the wind. "Baba Sunday, you said tomorrow is a promise only God can keep. I finally understand. Every breath is grace, and every act of kindness is wealth." She dropped a small flower into the water. The waves carried it away, glinting under the streetlights. Months passed. Her foundation grew. She began speaking at youth programs about humility and compassion. One day, during a talk at a university, a student raised his hand and asked, "Miss Adaora, what made you change?" She smiled and said, "A slap. But not the one I gave. A slap from life itself. When life hits you and you survive, let the pain turn to wisdom, not bitterness." The crowd cheered. After the event, as she walked toward her car, a frail man approached her, holding a small child by the hand. "Madam, thank you for feeding us last week." "God bless you," Adaora bent, touched the child's head, and said, "It's not me. Thank the man who taught me kindness." The man looked puzzled. She smiled. His name was Baba Sunday. That night, Adaora knelt by her bedside, the same way she had done the night she first prayed. Her mother's voice came from the sitting room, humming the same hymn. "There is a friend that sticketh closer than a brother." Adaora whispered, "Lord, make me that friend to someone tomorrow." She turned off the light, peace settling like gentle rain. In this life, pride builds walls, but kindness opens doors. The hand that gives, no matter how empty, is richer than the hand that only takes. And when wealth fails, character remains the true inheritance. If you wish to hear more stories like this, subscribe to the channel, like this video, and let your voice be heard in the comments below. God bless you.